I was first introduced to 50 through a friend of mine named Tracy. People know him as Foo. And he was friends with Sha Money, who was managing 50, was his business partner. So this is in the third year of Don Diva. And I'd been getting messages from Tracy, from Foo, that 50 wanted to be in Don Diva Magazine. So I didn't know much about 50. I had met him once before through a homie of mine that used to run the Def Squad record label. Yeah, I was down there talking to him about some Don Diva business, advertising, what have you, whatever. And 50 walked in. He was, he was chubby then. And, he walked in, homie introduced us. And you could tell he was apprehensive. Like, he was definitely a person who was leery about someone he didn't know. Even meeting in that kind of a circumstance. We were on Broadway off of Houston. That's where the office was. Not too far from where the original Def Jam office was. 2003.
Has the beef with Ja Rule, the stabbing incident, has any of that happened yet?
Yeah. Yeah, this has happened already.
So he's into it with the Supreme team or whatever.
Him and Supreme, they got their issues. Tracy had told me several times, yo, the kid Sha Money, keep calling me, 50 wanted to get in the magazine, yada yada. And I was like, well, the kid is kind of a troublemaker. And I'm an old school street cat. I don't want to perpetuate, anything that is contributing to a conflict condition within the community, right? I'm in the Don Diva van one day in the Bronx, and I'm about to get out, and I hear Kay Slay, who is sitting in for Angie Martinez at this time, say that he's about to have 50 Cent come on. So this is the first time I'm really taking a moment to listen to what this guy sounds like. Kay is asking him about, in anticipation of what's about to happen, about, the windfall you're about to receive. How are you going to respond? Are you going to do this? You're going to do that? You're going to fix your teeth? Whatever. And, he was responding to questions. And I don't remember what it was that he said, but there was something that he said in response to one of Kay Slay's questions that made me go, you motherfucker, you're smart. You're smart, and you're pretending to be common and dumb. You're appealing to your base audience, to the lowest common denominator, because that's, the base is always the broadest part of anything, right? So he's trying to appeal to that base. So those who are really down here and not, they're kind of not really thinking, they're just kind of, in the worst state, as society goes or whatever, like you're trying to get to those people. Because once you've been validated with those people, then it's like, yeah, you're the real thing, because, the bad people or the hard people or the, however people look at, street cats or whatever, they are attracted to you. They give you the certification, So he played into that. I picked that up in this listening to this interview with him and Kay Slay, DJ Kay Slay. And at that point, I called Kay Slay while he was on there, and I said, yeah, yo, the kid sitting next to you, tell him that I want to meet with him tomorrow. The next day I go down there, me and my son, Ty Mills, comedian Ty Mills, we go down there. He's like 15 at the time. And we go down there, we go in. It's a pretty secure building, to get in, take it upstairs, get on the floor. Like you had to go through security, you had to have some kind of pass and code or whatever. We get inside the office is very secure. And we start, talking. He starts talking immediately. It's almost like he knows exactly what he wants to talk about, whatever. Very premeditated guy, right?
Though trying to seem like he's not.
Yeah, well, anybody if you've got an agenda, and you're trying to gain access to something, you don't say I have an agenda. You just implement your agenda. You know, that's what he did. He didn't say, hey, I got some things specifically I want to come away with in this, whatever. But you can tell by the way that he went into it that it took me about 10 minutes to realize that he knew about my past. He knew about, you know, the kind of lifestyle that I came from, whatever. He knew these things because he talked to me in such a way that I cut my recorder off. He was talking about Preem, and not in a bad way. He was just explaining to me what had transpired, what I may not and was not privy to, you know, gave me some backstory, whatever. And he kept saying, your man, and your man, and your man. And I was like, at first I thought it was just like a colloquial reference. Then I realized, no, he knows that Supreme is my friend, you know? And I'm like, wow, how's it? He's talking to me like he knows me. So I said, okay, now this is a smart young man, you know? Like, this is really a smart young man. And people don't see him coming. They don't know that this guy's this smart. There's nothing that he overtly does that the public would see that would give you the indication he's this sharp. So we bond immediately. And he wanted to be in the magazine, and he was willing to pay for his space. Within 25 minutes of being with him, not only would I was like, you don't have to pay to be in it, I said, you're going to be on it. You're going to be on the cover, right? That was Don Diva's strength. We weren't the biggest. We didn't have the largest distribution. We didn't have a whole bunch of money behind us. It was none of that. It was because I was on the ground and I was able to see things before it became apparent to everybody else that this was what's next. And that's what I saw with him. I see what the position he was in. You know, he's got Dre, he's got M, you know, he's got the streets. This is a perfect storm. This is happening. And he's sharp. This is happening. So I put him on the cover of the magazine. Most people had heard him, but they'd never seen him. And when I put him on the cover, it was our 3rd anniversary issue. When I put him on the cover, 2 months after I put him on the cover, he was literally on the cover of like every magazine in the country. So Don Diva was that center, you know, through which, or that system through which a person was verified by someone who was qualified and now certified. He recognized that and was like, I need to be in that, you know. It's just that he was able to leverage the opportunity in such a way to maximize it to get on the damn cover.
What did Supreme tell you about 50 Cent?
So the conversation that Kenneth and I had, Supreme and I had, he calls me one night and he goes, yo, I see you fucking with the kid. I said, I knew you talking about. I said, which kid you talking about? He said, the kid, you know, the kid. He won't say his name. It's the kid. I said, yeah, I fuck with the kid, man. I like him. He's a smart kid. He's very smart. You know, we talk virtually every day. From the time that we met, we had been in communication virtually every day through the 2 ways, which is every day. You know, he was going to a meeting at some place. You know, things were still just happening for him. So he was going to a meeting at some place up in New Rochelle one time, a show or whatever. And he was asking me, you know, how should he approach this? You know, just how to deal best with this situation. I gave him my insight. That turned into a regular thing, pretty much every day, whatever he was doing. The night that Jam Master Jay got killed, he was supposed to meet me at Mars 2112. He calls me and says, yo, the cops are following me. They're behind me right now. I said, well, what are they doing? I said, you know, I'm standing in Mars 2112 in the lobby. I said, well, don't come here because there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 8 homicide detectives here. I know they're homicide detectives because they're all wearing hats. That's what how once they solve, they get their hat. They're all wearing hats. He's got a bunch of seasoned homicide detectives in this lobby right now, waiting for you to get here. Don't come here. He said, what should I do? I said, well, where you at? He said, I'm on the what's the highway or whatever. I said, right, go to Jersey. Going over to Jersey. There ain't cops over there. Go on to Jersey and they'll get off your ass, and and we'll talk tomorrow, whatever. I told him in the first meeting, I said to him, once I turned the recorder off, I said to him, I said, look, this is, since you're speaking to me as though you're familiar with me, let me give you some particulars. And I told him things like, how I was raised, who my mother and father were, what kind of indoctrination I had, and, that the basis of my upbringing was that with which I cannot coexist must cease existence. He said, say that again. I said, that with which I cannot coexist must cease existence. He said, one more time. I said, that with which I cannot coexist must cease existence. He said, got it. I have a thing that I do. I've always done this. From my experience, of having people close to me be killed and so forth, whatever, I adapted this mindset of that with which I cannot coexist must cease existence. This was reinforced by my training, by my mother, by the other people in my family who were responsible for my development. So this is the dynamic of our relationship. He asks me questions, I give him insight and so forth. And that's how I got around to giving him the 48 Laws of Power, because he was asking me questions, I would give him the information, he would actually take the information and apply it. So, which is rare. People always ask and they rarely ever apply it. He listened, he assimilated the understandings and the information I was sharing with him. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna put you on to something. I said, but when you get this, cover the cover up. Don't let anybody see you reading this. Now this is 2003, right? I had read the book a few years before. I got it from a girl named Deirdre. Shout out to you wherever you are, Deirdre. Good looking out. She was Snoop Dogg's road manager, and I met her. When me and Snoop and all we hang out here in New York and all that. And she gave it to me in 2000. It had come out the year before, and so I put him onto it. And the things you start to see him do moving forth with the the mixtape came out where he was performing. He basically redid everybody else's songs and made his own pieces out of them. Whatever. Went on tour with that. That had never been done before. He totally innovated that. And as he was moving through those steps in building his career, he was using the 48. He was picking a certain level of opposition, which would immediately, in people's minds, make him equal to the opposition. So if you're beefing with somebody who's regarded in this way, on this level, regardless of who you are, if that person is responding to you, in people's minds, at least that person who they recognize as being high, recognize you as being high too. So now you get that person's audience and attention and so forth, whatever, and then you wait for them to present you with the information necessary for you to undermine them. You get them going, you get them talking, get them emotional. They start saying things and whatever, reacting, and you get to, play their weaknesses. This is what the 48 it elaborates on and helps you understand. I told them that if whatever's gotten you to where you are now in your career, the hustle, the grind, answering every call, taking every meeting, I said, I got you this far. I said, but now that you're at this point, you cannot continue to operate like that, as attached to those tactics and behaviors as you may be. You cannot. So that's really what bonded us. That's what bonded us. His ability to receive information and apply it, and in a practical way. So we were tight. So when Preem calls me and says, yeah, so yeah, your kid, you talking to the kid, you dealing with the kid? He said, man, I don't like that kid, man. He said, man, the kid is smart. He's got good business sense. He picks up information real good. He tells me all these things, and I know these things because I'm experiencing these things. He picks up information really well and all that, whatever. But he's a user and he's not loyal. He said, and as soon as he thinks he's gotten all he needs out of you, he will drop you. And I was like, I mean, you've known him longer than I have. You know, you knew his mom and all that. He told me that. You know, his mother used to hustle with you, you know, work for you, whatever. I know y'all got history, whatever, you know.
Raised by wolves, inside the life and mind of a guerrilla hustler. Intro. As a child, in the constant presence of gangsters, I overheard a lot. I remember hearing it said that it's better to be feared than to be loved. I remember gangsters who tried to live on love, and I remember that it almost always ended badly for them. But then, many of the feared didn't fare too well either. I remember an afternoon in a Harlem classroom long ago, after collecting a writing assignment from me. My first grade teacher, whose name I no longer recall, said, "You write well, Cavario. You could be a writer." I remember sneering and remarking, "A writer? I'm gonna be a gangster."
The block getting scarred up, rob 'em. Meet you up Edgecombe, the dead zone. Base heads is happy, crooks is tacky, $5 hustlers, sharp as fuck, rockin' khaki. Niggas in the hallway, raw way. One light out, waiting to stick up, to slide to the hideout. Gangsters been blowing piff, we got an older gift, live it. That time it meant get time, I'm on the average when I'm fucking. But far as that leg go, I'm strutting. 100 pellets in your face chuckling. Niggas is niggas, but that ain't me, I'm a super nigga.